Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pedagogy in Practice. In this episode, we are going to be talking about chunking content in your course, and specifically, we're going to be looking at doing this with design tools. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Hey everyone, okay. So in order to start explaining chunking content, we should probably work with a definition of what chunking content is. And it's really quite simple. It simply means breaking down the elements of your course into bite-sized manageable pieces. That's all chunking is. Now, let me go ahead and show you a couple examples of how content can be chunked. So if I hop over here to this course, I'm currently looking at a weekly introduction page. This page is meant to be placed at the front of a weekly module that tells the students what's coming up in the week ahead. And you'll notice that the content on this page is broken down into different areas or chunked, right, for the benefit of student reading. So up at the very top, I provide an introduction that talks at a very high view what the week is about, right? What we'll be covering this week. And then I also tie elements of the topic to things that have happened in weeks past. Now you'll also notice I give them a chunked area for tasks, right? Where I talk about, what readings they have to do, what assignments, what quizzes, what tests. If I scroll down further, you can see that I have an area that will tell them which instructional objectives we will be striving to meet specific to this week, as well as which student learning outcomes from the course are going to be assessed in this week or we will be striving for this week as well. So that's a nice introduction page. Now let me also show you what it looks like on an assignment. So once again, remember, we are trying to break down the elements into bite-sized manageable pieces. So here on this assignment, up at the very top, I'm going to input the instructions for the assignment. I'm going to tell them what the assignment is about. Then I provide them a chunked area where I talk about criteria, right, such as these elements will contribute to making your paper successful, or a successful paper will look like this. Then once again, I include the instructional objectives that are specific to this assignment, as well as the student learning outcomes that will be assessed within this specific assignment. So those are a couple of areas that you can look at, chunking content. Now, next, let's go ahead and talk about how chunking content is beneficial to the structure of your course. Around 2017, Bakersfield College's Academic Senate approved the OEI course design rubric as our official resource for developing online courses and building them. Right, so it's not an official evaluation tool, but it is a great resource to refer to when building your course. And by chunking content, you actually align very well with a lot of the rubric elements. Some of those elements include element A1 of the rubric called placement of objectives, right, where you need to make sure that your objectives are included in the individual learning units. So as I showed you in the previous example, not only did we have objectives present on a weekly level, but we also had them present within chunked areas on specific assignments as well. Another element that it aligns with, that would help align the rubric to, is element A4, course navigation. Right, by chunking content, it makes the flow and content of your course easier to navigate by your students. So A4 is another good one. And we also have element A6, which talks about page level chunking. So that is where you have to chunk your pages in manageable segments using headings that facilitate online reading. So in other videos, we will talk about accessibility and aligning those headings. But by chunking those pages, you meet A6 as well, and it has to be present throughout your course. Now, there's also, if done right, you can also, by chunking your content, align to A9, instructions, which says that course design includes instructions for learners to work with content in meaningful ways. So you could actually take a video and put it on your chunked areas and tell them about things to look for in the assignment or considerations, right? And these are several elements from the rubric that can really help you design your course. And by chunking content, you cover all of these. It's kind of like that game Minesweeper, right? Where you hit one button and it clears out a bunch. So chunking content can be very powerful. So with that said, let's now hop over into Canvas, and I'm going to be using design tools to show you how to chunk the content in a very easy format. All right, let's get over there. All right, in this segment, what I would like to talk to you about is how to actually create chunked content pages in your Canvas course. So all I've done so far is I've gone into a Canvas course and I've created a blank page, and I'm in the edit function of a page, where I have access to my rich content editor. I've put a title up at the top of the page. But most importantly, what I want to do is, in order to get started, I need to go to the top right, open up my Design Tools bar, click that. It's going to have that little rocket ship. And when Design Tools pops out, the thing that I want to do is go to the Create Edit Content menu. Once I'm there, I'm going to go ahead and click that. Scroll down, and the third option in that menu is I need to choose a theme. This is first and foremost the thing you need to do in order to sort of get everything started in Design Tools. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a theme, and you'll notice that I have all these little colorful bars here. And the thing that I want to do is I'm just going to sort of scroll over all of these, mouse over them, and see which sort of content, how I would like the page to be formatted. Now, because I'm in here a lot, I tend to like to use flat sections too. So I'm just going to go ahead and, I know that I like flat sections too, so I'm going to go ahead and click, flat sections too. Now, once I'm here, you'll notice that whatever title I gave up here, it pulls it down here as well. So I can come in here and I can actually type that and change it. I can also come lower in Design Tools, and you'll see that I have customized banner text, and I can change that in here as well. So you'll notice I'm going to change the text name here up at the top. So I'm just going to call this a weekly introduction. So weekly intro, and I'm actually going to delete the two pound signs or hashtags, right? So now I have this nice banner created up at the top of my page. Now, in order to start chunking content, it's really quite simple. The Design Tools comes with a lot of ready-made features ready for you just to pop right there on the page. So what I'm going to do now is up at the top, you'll notice above my Create Edit Content menu, I also have a blue button that says plus Add Content Blocks. Now, when you're designing using Design Tools, it basically segments your page into what it likes to call content blocks, right? So when I click that button, a menu is going to pop out, and these are some of the preset content blocks that I can add directly to my page. So you'll notice I have an introduction block. So I'm going to go ahead and click the plus button next to introduction text here. And you'll notice it now places a place for me to type in an introduction right here at the top of my page. Now, I may also have something like readings that I want to tell my students about, and so I click readings, and boom, it lands a readings content block right on the page. Now, you'll also notice that there's some objectives, some activities, assignments. I probably want some assignments, so I'm going to throw some assignments right there on the page. But you may also be noticing as you look at this, you're saying, well, Matt, I don't see any instructional objectives that you had on your page or student learning outcomes that you have on your page. And this is how you create those. So you'll notice that in this Add Content Blocks menu up at the very top, I am provided a field that says Create New Content Block. Well, I can come in here, and this is my area to actually customize those blocks. So I'm going to come here and say learning, or I'll say instructional outcomes or objectives. I'll say instructional objectives. I will click the plus next to it. And now I have an area devoted to instructional objectives on my page. And I'm going to do the same thing again, this time for student learning outcomes. I'm going to type in student learning outcomes, say plus, and now I have an area devoted to student learning outcomes on my page. So if I close that menu, you'll notice I can scroll through the page, and I have some nice chunked areas already starting to take shape on my page. Now, one thing you may be noticing is right here with the preset ones, they come in with these icons, right? There's one here that has a book for readings and a pencil for assignments, but the new ones that I customized, my instructional objectives and student learning outcomes, don't have icons. Let me show you how to fix that. If we go back over to Design Tools on the right-hand side and go Create Edit Content, Add Rearrange Content Blocks, you're going to notice that everything that you have on the page is starting to build up right here in this menu. You'll notice that next to readings, I have a book. Next to assignments, I have a pencil. But next to instructional objectives and student learning outcomes, in this little gray box just to the left in the menu, there's nothing. If I click in that gray box and search for something, such as, let's say I just want to check, right? I'm going to look for things related to check marks. So instructional objectives, I'm going to say, all right, I like this clipboard with the check mark, and I'm just going to click that. And now you'll see that next to instructional objectives, I have the clipboard with the check, and now on the page, I also have the clipboard with the check. Now the red circle with the white icon, that is dependent on the theme that I chose. In other trainings that we offer, I can teach you how to change those colors and change those icons even further. But for right now, this is the furthest extent we're going to carry it in this video. I'm going to add another icon to Student Learning Outcomes. So if I come here to the gray box next to Student Learning Outcomes in my Add Rearrange Content Blocks menu on the right-hand side and click in that, I'm going to look for checks again. Now I want you to notice something. If I do the plural of checks, no icons match my search. However, if I make it a singular form, just check, now all of a sudden it pulls up a bunch of icons in the Design Tools icon database. And now what I want for this Student Learning Outcomes is I like this little person figure with the check, and I'm just going to click that, add that to the page. And that is how I can create simple chunked content using design tools in my Canvas course. Now, one other thing, your academic technology department here on Bakersfield College campus, we've taken the liberty of creating some Canvas templates that have all of this sort of already built in that are a great resource to use before you start building your class before the semester starts. So in the description of this video, I'm going to post the link to that resource in Canvas Commons. Now, if you are somebody that's not part of our Kern Community College District here, you will not have access to that resource. We did limit it to the people within our district, but the link is down below. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on the video, and we'll see you next time. All right, bye.